What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you guys so much for your kind donations and getting me out of jail. I am back in my home studio here, so we are back to our regular scheduled programming. So I want to thank you guys so much for still checking in on the videos, checking in on the channel, and supporting me while I'm away. I understand that the quality of the videos were not the best. We did have a little family trip there, and yeah, our accommodations had a bit of an echo, and there wasn't really anything I can do about that. So I do appreciate you guys still tuning in. In this video here, we got a pretty big one here. Big news here from Plarium. As some of you guys may know, they did release a podcast with Nubs and Cruisin talking to one of the devs, Vlad. Make sure you guys check that out. But a key piece of information that they actually went through in that video was that they were talking about the future of Mercurial, and the developers did agree that the set was a little bit overtuned and that changes were coming. Well, changes are coming, and they finally released to us exactly what they are going to do, and I'm here to share that with you guys here today. So first up, let's go through it. Hey folks, in the first episode of the Plarium podcast, our game designer Vlad already teased some upcoming changes to the Mercurial set. Today, they will share with us exactly what is going to change, the reasoning behind it, and when you can expect the rebalance to go into effect. At the moment, we see two issues with the Mercurial set: lack of counter mechanics and the reapplication of total guard stacks at the beginning of the champion's turn, especially on fast champions. Yes, I agree, those are the two issues. Another issue could be that the set is just too easy to get for most people in the game, and the relative strength of the set. But yes, these are two key issues. When compared to Stone Skin, which has plenty of counters, total guard stacks can currently only be removed by dealing damage or bypassing with increased skill cooldown effects. That's why we're introducing a new vulnerability to the Mercurial set, the Provoke debuff, guys. After rebalance, you'll be able to land provoke debuffs on champions by bypassing their total guard stacks. Furthermore, champions under provoke will not have their total guard stacks refreshed. So it's a bit of a double whammy here. We hope that with this change, champions who can reliably apply provoke debuff, many of whom have fallen out of the meta for a long while, will come out of the vault and join you in the arena. As always, once the change goes into effect, we'll have some time to evaluate the data and hear from your feedback to determine whether any additional changes are necessary. Now, Plarium did confirm with us that they are expecting to put this update out sometime in September. So in September, guys. So a little bit of time, not too much, but sometime, I would say 6 to 8 weeks, we should see this balance change happen. Well, this is pretty big news, right? Obviously, they're going to elevate a whole bunch of champions that we probably previously forgot about. And the best thing about provoke champions is that they double duty as Hydra champions, so head of decay counters, right, to deal with head of decay. So you're not totally losing value by building a total niche champion just for arena. You can get some value out of the same champion in Hydra. Now I'm over at RSLX on the website on the index here, and I actually filtered out all the champions in the index that have provoke. So these are the champions that we are expecting to have a massive spike in value with this update, especially the champions that are already being used right now. So these champions, for example, somebody like Garo. Garo does have a provoke on the base form attack. So now he can go through total guard. So she gets a lot better right out of the gate, right? You have somebody like Freya with the A1 with the provoke. It's going to get a lot better. Somebody like Nice, who's already, very top tier. Now he has provoke. Now he's going to be a lot better also. Somebody like Bayek. Bayek has provoke on his AoE. Again, very, very strong. He's going to be even stronger after this buff. Same thing with Gallius here. Now, what about champions that we don't use that might actually become extremely strong? Sorry, I missed Storm Herald Hecate. He's going to be even stronger now with his A1, which might be the craziest A1 in the entire game because he lands provoke and enfeeble on an AoE. So yeah, he definitely skyrockets in terms of value. But I'm just going to look over some of these champions which champions do you think will actually make it into the meta now with this kind of buff? Somebody like Gaspard already sees a lot of playtime in like Platinum Classic Arena, for example. Will he be more of a full-time champion, right? And he has an AoE provoke. I could see somebody like Torment. Torment has an AoE provoke also. Could be very, very nice. He already is pretty decent. and his counterpart with Hilvy makes him very strong, or his synergies with Hilvy makes him very strong also. So maybe he can come out of the vault and play some live arena. What about champions like Molly? Molly's really, really strong because she has potentially a two-turn provoke, also with a turn meter boosting passive and a revive. She's a great support champion. Alaz, Arnie here from Mythicals. Any champion that can bring a consistent AoE provoke, and if they have a passive that also benefits off of provoke, I think we're going to see a big value boost here. Anaxia is going to be a solid provoker also. She does bring a 3-turn provoke. She is a mythical, and she's free, which means she's probably going to get built out on some people's accounts that have her, and she's going to be really good for progress. Going back to Molly here, the good thing about Molly is that her provoke is actually touchless, so you don't have to have affinity issues. That's going to be something else that you have to consider here, that affinity is going to play a big role in this. If you're going to weak hit into them, then you're not going to be able to provoke them. And of course, you want really high accuracy on these champions to make them worthwhile. What about building these type of champions? Are they going to change, right? We have things here like we have masteries. I think a lot of people might actually go for these masteries, like fearsome presence. You're gonna get an extra 5% chance to provoke. If you're running a champion with a less than 100% chance to provoke, you might want to run this, right, as a support champion. And what about the provoke set? So we have a provoke set in this game. Is that ever going to show up again? Right, like right now we maybe have like one good provoke set on your account, so you can bring it into certain Hydra teams. If you're still progressing through the game, I think even in the late game or the end game now, we don't even run provoke sets at all. But as you're progressing through the game, a provoke set is very, very helpful just to help you deal with the head of decay, right? So will this ever show up in any kind of live arena or PvP situation, right? Also, things like relics and gemstones. Is there anything there that helps with provokers? Would be interesting to see it, but it's always very, very cool to have these kind of balance changes. It's not a hard nerf. We saw this with Stone Skin when Stone Skin was first introduced. Stone Skin was basically just too strong. There was nothing to really deal with Stone Skin, and the way that Plarium, wanted to deal with it was basically make a mechanic that was no longer used, which was bombs, and then have the bombs be able to counter the stone skin. Also, HP burn, right? So we did talk to Plarium a couple months ago at at a roundtable talk with the developers, and they were saying that at that time they already agreed that Mercurial was probably too strong and that they needed to do something about it. They initially said they didn't want just to make a champion that can full ignore it. So then they're looking at mechanics at how to deal with it. And this is the mechanic that they chose. I would think that this wasn't a huge surprise that they chose a mechanic that was not often used to deal with it. It could have been something like Hex even, you know what I mean? Because not many champions have Hex, but you can have a whole set that makes a Hex champion, right? But in any case, it's going to be provoke. This is actually pretty interesting. I'm just going to check my account here, see what kind of provokers I have. I don't have that many, but yeah, let me see. We got Harima here. What else? Like we really don't have much. We have Krisk, Molly. Molly is probably going to be the one that is most interesting for most people because she's been in the game a long time, and if you've been playing a long time, you might have her. You can also get her from the token trader. So that potentially could be a thing, right? And Molly's actually a decent champion. She was actually used in like Classic Arena back in the day and all that. She was a way to deal with Hegemons back in the day with her passive turn meter boost. And it'll be interesting at how people respond to this, right? Do people take their champions out of Mercurial and go for more like Stone Skin, for example? Obviously, the best defenses will have like a mix, right? A mix of different kind of gear sets to throw you off your game. But Mercurial is so strong right now, people are just more inclined just to gear everybody Mercurial. But if you have another counter in the system, maybe that strategy changes, right? In any case, these provokers are going to be really strong because they shut down some of these really fast, strong supports with 9-piece Mercurial. And then stop them from refreshing their stacks, which is going to be really, really good. But you can see here on my, even on my roster here, I don't really have too many that I'm jumping for joy at wanting to use. I think Molly might be the one. I mean, Torment could get a look here as well. Like, does Krisk ever come back? I don't think so. But anyways, guys, this is some pretty big news here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was informative for you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. This is a big one. Is this enough? Is this enough to put a check in on Mercurial? Or does Plarium need to do more? Do they need to add something else that can help deal with it? Similar to how HP burn and bombs can deal with stone skin, does Mercurial need something else? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And like I said, thank you guys so much for your patience with the last week or so of poor quality videos. I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching until the end, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.